All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Kaguya-sama, Love is War, Season 2, Episode 12.
It's a sad day. This is the last episode of Season 2.
Yeah. Especially after such an emotionally charged previous episode.
Yep.
What could they do now?
Ishigami and Inomiko get trapped in the storage locker. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or just the complete, biggest twist and, Miyuki and Kaguya just confess. Yeah.
Or they have the sex. No. That would be a surprise.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's going to be something about the student council kind of coming together as the new unit that they are, with Inomiko kind of being in their midst, and then also maybe some epilogue kind of stuff with regards to the tension that there is between Inomiko and Ishigami.
And will Kaguya, or sorry, not Kaguya, will Chika compete? No.
Maybe.
No.
But we've established quite a bit with regards to Ishigami and his relationships with
we have indeed.
A couple of the student council members, and also how much they work to make sure that he would be able to be here and
also
free of his past.
Kaguya working to make sure that, Ogino just sort of wouldn't be around.
Yeah. But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this finale. Alright everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Oh my god, that was an amazing
That was
finale.
wonderful. That was fantastic.
We got Kaguya, emotional, just development, focus, everything was so good. This is just perfect.
That was great.
I'm really glad that this season ended with Kaguya being kind of the main character focus.
Yes. Yeah. And the whole thing of the phone was wonderful because it's something that had been previously established, but also it's those no big deal things that matter the most. It's the thing that's so small and yet it means a lot to her.
Right.
Because these people mean a lot to her, and it's a way to sort of look back on how far she's come, how far they've all come, and the fact that they understand her enough in order to kind of figure out what's going on, sort of, but not really. And then just by being themselves, they end up perfectly helping Kaguya resolve the situation.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
And it's so wholesome because while this has a lot of the skits that would make primarily for a finale, recapping and kind of remembering back specific memories, having a little bit of a thing that kind of chaotically, violently, erupts at the end for a dramatic bang.
Right.
It's still something that's all focused around the heart of the show, which is love is war. But,
that's right.
But
is it war?
Sometimes it doesn't have to be.
Exactly.
Sometimes
love is love.
Love is love, and love is the people around you being able to share in things with you. And then, Kaguya, you have some restrictions that you've been having to work with, some struggles that have come your way, but the people around you really do care about you, and even though one of them in particular cares about you a lot and is also facing his own kind of awkward struggles with how he shows it. At times, Ishigami will just say something that instigates, a whole, cavalcade of stuff. Or even Chika will end up, starting a snowball of wonderful wholesomeness. And now you have Inomiko as well to add another layer of complexity and
that's right,
fun into the mix. So
I love that she ended up pumping the balloon up a bunch,
and they all pressured her.
They all kind of pressured her into it,
oh, Chika, you're scum.
Right.
That's genius. Let's do it.
Right.
She's the youngest one. She's new here. Just all the peer pressure involved.
But she ended up knowing when to stop. And that worked out rather nicely. But
and then Chika using the tangerine just at the perfect time.
Exactly. And then
totally a coincidence too.
And that being the way that it went into the OP, all right, awesome. Awesome. That was wonderful.
Anytime finales use the OP in the actual episode, it's stuff that's
a great
really
moment.
good. It is. So the emotional core of this episode with the phone, though. I think that this was a really cool kind of random encounter kind of incident to kickstart a little bit of what makes this new student council come together. We end up with them creating their own line group for the student council, which is something which is an excuse for there to be group interactions via Kaguya and Shirogane.
Yep.
Or Miyuki, but
and maybe
and have it be totally okay, between the two of them being like, okay, well, it's not like I'm confessing love to him or anything. This is
exactly
group conversation.
Yeah, and if they're when they share all the photos, if Kaguya happens to realize that there seem to be yes, but there seem to be more photos that Miyuki took of me than of say the other people in the student council.
Yeah. To be fair, he's not the kind of person,
he's not a photo
from what
taker.
We've seen in the show, who took tons of photos of her. Yes. It was just that there were some specific moments where she was being very cute, and he did take photos of her. Right. So there is that. Yeah. But if anything, I could see Chika being the one that took quite a few photos.
Oh, yeah. Chika takes photos. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, but I like how the other characters, specifically Shigami in this case, someone who also I would put into the not taking photos category as much, ended up going, I'll get all the photos from the sports festival. It's something that he looks back on with such, positivity. Right. And it's not that he took photos of it. It's that he was participating in a group that probably took plenty of photos, and then they passed them along to him, showing that he has another group as well that is, still connected with him, and that's just cool as well.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I really like about the show in general, because it's comedy, right? And a lot of the jokes are predictable in some ways. Sure. But the good kind of predictable, I think. Where because that the characters are the certain ways that they are, when a situation is presented, right? And the situation will be silly or simple or ridiculous or whatever. Right. There's a certain cadence and flow to it, that you can pick up on, and it's like the yes,
as expected
of so and so, right?
They don't just say it, right? Do it.
Exactly. Yep. And I love it. The whole thing of Chika being like, all right, let's go, let's bump this up as crazy as it'll go, and just being pressured into pumping it up more. It's like, yeah, of course, because why not? And the whole thing of them just being like, oh, only pumping it up once. Yes. Yeah, Dad told me that I need to, take one on the chin sometimes for the people I love.
Yes. I like how
that was great.
This episode focused on how a lot of their characters' development are things that don't apply to every other situation. Because sometimes a big thing is staring at you in the face, and your animal instincts kick in, and you're unable to move forward. Yep. And if you think about what this whole show's premise is based on, is there's an animal instinct within, our main characters.
But they're stubborn.
But they are so wrapped up in their egos, their individuality, their specific ways in which they want it to go.
Totally helpless.
That they are unable to entirely progress based on the things they have learned at every single point. They do progress. Right. The idea that Kaguya went, and because of a really traumatic thing that happened, she just wasn't even thinking and asked for his line ID. And we're like, oh my God, that's how detached she is from what's going on right now by being able to do that. And then because of Shirogane ended up being really cool with having this be an opportunity for them to submit all the photos to that. It was really, really sweet. But in the midst of the balloon situation, where it's something where, oh no, they're just a little bit afraid. Ishigami stuff he learned at the sports festival. Yuki stuff he learned from his father. Kaguya's ritual. Right. All those things mean nothing. Muda, muda, muda.
That's right.
And I love that this is something that could be used to apply to the fact that people are not consistent. We're unpredictable. We don't learn our lesson once and then forever apply it the right way in the future. If we were, there were a lot of illogical things that just wouldn't happen in human history. But
although
here we are.
My MVP of this episode, though, was the principal. all the serious stuff. Yes, that was really good. It was really good. But oh my God, that principal, that was so funny. And it was
we've seen him before, but
we've seen him before.
Something where we didn't get
but never
much
with
of him.
that level of continued focus that we got this episode. It was wonderful because, and this, when you think about it, this whole skit with the principal was just the setup, right, for the emotional payoff, right, for the emotional conflict. So that was wonderful.
Yeah, this little moment I didn't really point out it too much when I was in the reaction, but Kaguya's thing of I've never taken a photo like that. I envy them. She looks off to the side. Shirogane immediately notices and then goes and walks over to the principal. And everyone else seems to clue in immediately what's going on, probably because they heard Miyuki's words they were saying to the principal.
And then Ino's
the one that
with that face. That is such an adorable face, right?
Yes. Miko, oh my God.
He's like, come over here.
Get over here. I love it. I love it. And then just you don't have to do this for me. It's like, no, this isn't about you. This is what your friends want. And the way they all just are there looking at her. And you have Shoujo Ishigami. And hair down and wild, Miko. The president smiling on. And then Airhead Chica just...
I feel like that is actually the
quintessential shot.
No, not quintessential shot necessarily. But that is maybe the most innocent and pure that Chica has ever looked, because whenever she gives smiles like that, there's something horrified underneath, right? Like there's something underneath that's scary, right? But that was just genuinely just being like, yeah, let's all have a group photo, it'll be great,
right? And then we get to see at the very end of the episode the photo
that they ended up taking.
And
look at that smile on Kaguya. Look at that smile.
What's so wonderful about this is something that Kaguya wouldn't have been able to smile like this. In the beginning of the show. Or even at the end of season 1, really. Because this smile was something that was extremely just natural. Just she was so happy.
It was like a smile that she couldn't contain. Also, one other thing I have to mention, because there was a lot of really good build-up for the punchline of the jokes in this episode,
that's
right?
True.
But I think my favorite build-up for the punchline of the joke was not actually Shirogane thinking back to his dad, telling him the lesson, because that was really good.
That was quite good.
My personal favorite.
Yeah.
Was Ishigami doing the and doing the cool walk and everything with the hair and the blue, lasers and everything, and
the most important thing is to keep your eyes wide open. I realized I was afraid of so many things because I avoid looking.
Exactly.
But if I take a good look, nothing will. And then
it scares the hell out of me.
And then the actual face animation of it contorting around his face.
And then just the absolute disappointed look of Chica, because Chica has always had that perspective on Ishigami that he's just the most pathetic thing ever a lot of the time, right? Sometimes she'll come alongside him and be like, okay, you're actually doing pretty good there, right? But so the fact that Ishigami is in the moment being so cool in this completely silly setup situation,
and he does the thing exactly that she would expect him to do.
Right. It's just
like, wow, you confirmed everything I think about you.
Yep, exactly, yeah. I could almost see Chica being deep down, I knew that whole sports festival thing wasn't going to mean anything in the long run.
Oh my God, no.
No, Chica wouldn't go that far. She's not that terrible.
Although I do love the menacing text over the tangerines. Like when Kaguya was like, "Hey, would you like some tangerines?" I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And then the immediate thing of I am going to
end this. I'm going to end her whole career
so quickly.
Right. And the look on Kaguya's face right before she goes into the panic look, but of just being like that was.
Oh, it's delightful. And then of course Miko being like the one on like the TV show where everyone else is all like other contestants are like cheering go, and then everyone's like, oh,
she's just crying,
the innocent cute girl. It's just like no.
And then Kaguya getting the dart to try and like pop the balloon early, and Ino blocks it without realizing it. Like, oh my god, it's great.
Yeah. I wanted to say something as a story related to the idea of when they did the fake boyfriend-girlfriend photo shoot thing. Mm-hmm. So when I was around 18, a friend of mine was doing a school project with photography.
Okay.
And she needed to do basically a couple different shoots. And so she had like 3 different styles of shoots, and I was in 2 of the 3. That was one that was a single, where she chose a girlfriend of hers, and she was in like this really, really fancy getup, and she took her around to a bunch of places and shot stuff there, and we just hung out with them because it was fun, but also because we were going to do the second shoot in parallel, where then she was in the same getup, and we had a bunch of guys in suits that would be her bodyguards, basically.
Okay, cool.
For the star, basically. And so I was in a suit with shades, and we were positioned at like different points, so it looked like a band album cover.
Sure, yeah.
And it was like the most badass thing to feel like, oh yeah, I clean up pretty good. And I definitely wasn't like anywhere near as good looking as like a bunch of the other guys who like had like really good suits and like really good ties and just perfect hair and everything. And it was just like, oh, it was so cool. But I was the only one that was free for the 3rd photo shoot later, which was then she took the same girl and she had to create a story within the photos. So she chose basically a lover's quarrel. It's basically the story of 2 people finding each other, love at first sight, then of course disagreements, lover's quarrel, split apart, and then they agree to basically make up over it.
Gotcha.
And so it was a sequence of about 25 to 30 photos to tell this story. And she had to take like 250 photos or something to make the whole thing work. And I just remember it being a thing where people would then message her and I thinking, you guys would make a really cute couple. Meanwhile, her actual husband-to-be was helping out the photographer at the time before they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And it was just one of those things where, looking back on it, it's hilariously funny to think, right out of frame, right over there, is her eventual husband.
Wow.
Watching this whole thing.
Wow.
And I'm just so happy for them, but it was one of just the funniest things to be in one of those instances where they're like, yes, Chika and Miyuki, yes, and boyfriend and girlfriend. And then there's the one on the sidelines like, and then it's like, but
it's
actually,
who'd make too bad that,
it's too, who would actually make a good, deal set up there. And I think the only reason why he didn't do it was because he didn't want to dress up. Because they had to put me through makeup, hair,
all that
stuff. And I was like, sure, whatever. But
how long did it take in total? Like,
how long did it take? Like an afternoon. Dude.
I can imagine.
5 hours, 4 hours. Yeah. I was sweating like crazy.
I can imagine.
But yeah, it's just that kind of thing is really funny.
And oh my god, every time Kaguya goes from like I feel like it's kind of like a similar thing to Chika's pettiness,
Sure.
But when Kaguya is like, how dare you? I'm going to,
do you know how much my family
donates to this school? Your career is over. You're done. You're finished, Yeah. It's too bad, Kaguya, because you would have made a...
And then she's like, yes.
Like, just complete about-face, 180-degree turn, like... It never gets old.
It really doesn't.
Because you're waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, you know it's going to happen.
You know it's going to happen. And what I love about it so much, a lot of times in comedy, the build up to the joke is not is not nearly as enjoyable as the actual punchline.
Gotcha.
And because of that, you're kind of depending on the punchline to be really good in order to make up for the fact that you have the build up like that, right? And that's something that can get kind of old, right? Whereas in this case, God, it's done so well that even if it was just Kaguya just fuming and being like, "Oh, I'm totally going to end you," right?
Yeah,
that would be plenty hilarious, right?
Yeah,
but it doesn't stop there. It goes on, into the place that you know it's going to go.
Right. I think that's also because this comedy is so consistent at times within what we've come to expect regarding the characters. That when you look at kind of sitcom style one-liner humor, a lot of times the one-liners feel like they were expected because that's the best one-liner to fit rather than the one that character would actually say.
Yeah.
So you end up in a thing of where the build-up doesn't feel like it's valid because it didn't build up to something that character would say. It felt like it was built up to the and here's
this is the funniest joke kind of a thing.
Right. Here's the one-liner that gives the most ha-ha, immediately, rather than it being something that character would say where you end up laughing.
Not necessarily because of what they're saying, but because they're saying it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That you're like, you would say that. You would do that.
And it's great. It's so simple in concept of like what's being done. And yet it just works so well.
I would say it's really good execution.
Right, it's really good execution. And I would love to like get into the headspace of the mangaka, but then also the like if any of these are like anime original things or things like that, like of what the creative process was behind crafting all of these different jokes that are just so consistently delivered on.
Well, there's a couple things I think that have to be kind of anime specific. One is the choice of color that they use specifically with when certain dramatic scenes are being used, but also I would say just the voice acting.
Yeah.
The Principal is a great example of where the voice acting is so hilariously dumb. But if you think about just Kaguya's voice acting in general, like just as a character, she just kills it.
And she was apparently a relative amateur before this role.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's crazy to me because she totally kills it every single time.
It is really good. Yeah. And then also I think it's that this show is very willing to go into the wholesome stuff. Like when Kaguya is alone walking away and she's trying to make this into a positive thing.
Right.
And she's barely able to hold herself back from crying and then she starts crying so much it just it hurts. Also I have to say this is the part where Hayasaka being just in my opinion best girl just being amazing at the phone store and Kaguya just like throwing barbs her way because she's hurting. It makes sense. But just the way Hayasaka kind of goes deadpan and you see her like literally like have a blank look of like I've hurt her. I'm in the wrong here.
I have dedicated my life basically in order to,
make yours better.
Make yours better. Yeah.
And then she just kind of goes, "Is the latest model same latest model of the same brand, Here's
and then she actually like gets really into it.
Well, right. It's got 4K HDR OLED, screen, and then she looks at the magazine info page and then she's like, wait a minute. Oh my God. This is the thing. It literally is me in a phone store. Just, I love freaking geeking out about phone little features and stuff like that.
Phones are impressive. Like a lot of technology goes into those.
I love seeing how much phones will iterate on each other, but then every once in a while a dumb design for a phone comes out that's like they're trying to push a certain thing too much and they end up getting like one thing right, and then within a year every phone worth its salt has that thing. So it's just this snowball of accumulating things, even though it's a lot of it is just trying to not a scam, but it's trying to milk your wallet like so much. Like,
yep. I will say there was one joke that I'm glad it wasn't in there because it wouldn't have fit with the tone of everything else that was happening and whatnot. But yes, I was also thinking of what you were talking about with the don't worry, it's a Nokia. Like, like her phone falls and it's like, no, it's totally fine. See,
Yeah, I'm glad it actually broke because then we ended up getting an even better version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more of that
have grown.
Yeah, exactly. They've grown and they are growing up. Like I feel like this is a different kind of focusing on the whole bit of the wake up call that Kaguya had when it was the end of their year as the student council, right? And then it's like, okay, do we do this again? Like what happens? There's going to come to a point where this isn't the same. Right? And this was one of those. And it was really painful and it wasn't something that she decided, right? It was kind of forced on her. It caught up to her all of a sudden.
That's true.
She didn't have that anymore and she had to adjust and it was painful. But she ended up being able to do it because of, the friends that she has with her.
Yeah. I also I got to give a shout out for the simple joke of the dick joke that, Chika unintentionally ended up kind of starting with her whole balloon game explanation. And you look at how everyone else is reacting to it and they're like, but then Kaguya's like, huh? Like,
right.
Kaguya is completely unaware of the innuendos being made here, but I love that Miko is the main one to like say it out loud, like I thought you were thinking of something dirtier, and she's the lawful stupid paladin,
she's
so like
Farnese,
exactly, so is this just another iteration of her actual potential kinky side that
I think so. What I will say though is that I was surprised that Ishigami and Shirogane were also thinking the same thing, and then we're kind of like,
disappointed.
They were like disappointed. Like, what were they actually thinking? That's what it would end up being. Like,
why did you do into it anymore? Because it'd be totally obvious. Wait. I bet she set us up on purpose. I'd play 50-50 odds on that. That girl's an eternal mystery. That is actually one of the best lines Ishigami has said. Is that, Shirogane basically goes, I totally believe that. And then Ishigami's like, hold on. I'd put 50-50 odds on that. Because that girl is a total mystery. And what Ishigami is basically getting at is the idea that Chika doesn't fully know what Chika is doing. Think back to the ramen scene, the ramen skit. That is the quintessential essence of Chika in that even Chika doesn't know when she's tapping into genius, but then there are times where Chika is a genius.
I would love to see. I don't think we would ever have a reason to see this, but I would love to see something like what we got with Kaguya at the beginning of the season, with her going into her head with all the different Kaguyas in there.
Okay.
I would love to see that, but with Chika, because I feel like that would just be an LSD trip. Like
it's just different balloon head Chikas with like different gases filling the balloons.
It's like and then one's like snorting a line of cocaine,
woo. And then there's the other one that's sitting on the throne like, I am in control. Yes, watching the subjects just run around like crazy where there's actual just chaos. Everything is going according to plan. Nothing is going according to plan. It's all chaos. But somehow it all works out. And it's like there is some kind of dark luck Cthulhu Lovecraftian god that watches over her.
Whispering over her shoulder. Oh my god.
Yes. And that's just, tentacle scary Chico. Just like,
but man, this episode was great.
This is good.
This season
was an entire step above an amazing first season.
God, yes. Like
let's not undersell this here.
Right.
Like
the fact that this season exists blows me away. Like this doesn't happen, often.
It's God's gift to this wonderful world.
Exactly.
This horrible world.
Oh man. I really hope there's a third season.
There better be a third season.
Like
There wasn't an announcement thing at the end of this season being like, season 3 will return in season 3 or something like that. So,
and like, okay, if they wanted to, market the manga, advertise for the manga, that has been done beautifully, right? That has been done wonderfully.
Yeah. I heard, though, that this show is getting a dub, it either just did start getting this dub, or it is getting a dub. That means there's a possibility that it's going to get a third season, I guess.
I would love for this show to get a third season.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. I remember seeing something that was for one of the earlier scenes in season 1, and they were showing off voices for some of the characters in the dub.
Okay.
The part that was interesting was the narrator is a bit different.
Yeah. This
show, y'all. This show is fantastic. Thank you so much for following it with us. This has been quite a journey.
Thanks for being patient since it took us a while to get around to this one.
Yeah. But now that it's over, we had a unique poll prior to this, so the next show is already decided from that poll, since we pretty much knew Kaguya was going to win.
Stomp. Yeah.
So, the next show that will be starting after this is Grand Blue.
That's right.
Yep.
There's a part of me that always wants to say Grand Blue Fantasy. That's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, but Grand Blue. So we're going to be getting basically frat boys and drinking and stuff, I think?
I think it's basically like College Boys, the anime comedy, which could be cool because we did, Daily Lives of High School Boys a while ago. So this, and then we did
Asobi. We're doing Asobi Asabase, so
we're covering all the areas of
just
comedy,
stupidity within the daily life of people that are in education.
Yes. Yeah. So, y'all, if you want to see the first episode's reaction to Grand Blue's reaction and all that right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yes, that's right. I wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. It's really cool. It's on Amazon. Link in the description. Go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.